Hi everybody, I'm Tim Donnelly. We're in the coaches' offices of the Charlotte Rush here at the Extreme Ice Center in Indian Trail, North Carolina. It's our midweek report on this Thursday, October the 25th. We're going to talk Charlotte Rush Elite hockey right now. Let's bring in the head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite, John Turner. And John, first of all, these are good times for the Charlotte Rush Elite team. You've won 5 games in a row. You come in with a very good record of 12-4 heading into this weekend. First, let's talk about the 2 big wins against the Carolina Eagles this weekend. The Charlotte Rush Elite sweeping and winning both games. It was a tough one, though, on Saturday, a 4-3 overtime win. Kieran St. Onge came through with the overtime goal for you, and you got 4 different individual goal scorers in the game, which was great. We had Jake Ballway scoring goal. Kyle Prestis chipped in with a goal. And also Christian Roble, who continues to remain hot, also had a goal, along with the game winner from Kieran St. Onge. So talk about, John, what you were happy with, what you might have been disappointed with, but the bottom line is you got the 2 points.
Absolutely. The compete was up. The guys it's great to see consistently different guys chipping in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes back to practice. Everybody competes, everybody's pulling on the same rope. And it's good to see that spill over into the games where different guys are contributing as well.
All right, great. And John, I know you would probably be the first to say this. You'd like to win a game more comfortably, but there are some good lessons to learn in an overtime game. The guys, it's tight, it's sudden death. You got to make sure you're covering defensively. So to pull out a game like that, I know it has to give the guys some confidence, but a lot of lessons, right, to be learned in an overtime game.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see more of that in our division this year. Our division at the elite level is as strong as it's been, and seems to be stronger than the other divisions. So we're going to play tighter games throughout the year, which is really going to put us in a position in playoffs where we're used to playing tight games. You know, last year it was a little bit of a little more blowouts. So then when you get into playoffs, you're not used to sweating it out in tight games. So I think it's going to benefit us in the long run. It's going to keep the compete up in practice during the week because they know they can't take weeks off. So I think it's stressful in the moment, but it's worth it, and it's pulled the guys together so much. You know, the brotherhood gets so much tighter when you're pulling out tight games and everybody's battling and stressing a bit. You know,
John, as a coach, how thrilling is it to see that game-winning goal in sudden death overtime go in?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing, especially a guy like St. Onge coming back from injury, having some confidence issues because it's an injury he's dealt with in the past, and it took a lot of hockey away from him last year. He talked about that a good bit. So it's great to see he needed that. He needed some confidence, and it's just great. You know, the guys, the culture has been great. That's one thing I'm so proud of the guys about. You know, winning games is one thing, but the way they hold themselves in public, the way they do the right thing, as tight as the brotherhood is getting in the locker room, that's what I really care about. So it's great to see when those things are taken care of, to just see the bonus of winning games come in. It's just a good combo.
All right, great. And then Sunday's game, a little bit easier. The coaching staff could relax a little bit. A big 8-3 win over Carolina. Chris Dunn had the hat trick for the Rush, and Blake Blevins had a goal and 2 assists. His scoring starting to pick up a little bit as he had a nice 3-point game. Yacht shot the Eagles 41-24, so a much easier win over Carolina on Sunday.
Absolutely. A little slow start. We just weren't committed to the back check and getting back, which doesn't help our D to be able to step up on pucks. So it's like a domino effect, falling back into our D zone a little bit. We made that adjustment. It was great for the guys to see an in-game adjustment, how quick that changed the tide. We started to tilt the ice in their zone by just committing to the back check defensively, opened up things offensively. And the floodgates just opened, and it was great to see some, not only Dunn getting the hat trick, but some other guys chipping in, just like in previous games, just building confidence throughout the team.
2 of those guys that chipped in that work hard, but gave you some secondary scoring. Charles Brindell had a goal, and Zach Leonard had a goal too.
Absolutely, both guys that compete every day. and don't get a lot of credit, and are still building confidence. So it's a great thing all around for them.
That's right. John Turner is visiting with us on this midweek report for the Charlotte Rush. John, the head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite, assistant coach for the Charlotte Rush Premier. And wanted to get some comments from John. We talked to Lenny Childs about this in our premiere video, but a lot of fans don't know what it's like for these guys to go on the road. They travel in the bus somewhere, and then they have to play 2 games. Sometimes the Elite that plays a little earlier, they will maybe go back to the hotel earlier, but sometimes they stay and cheer on their premier brethren who are playing the later game. And then, of course, you got to get up the next day very early to get to the rink on time for an early game. You're staying in a hotel. So not a lot of sleep for the players, not a lot for the coaching staff, worse for the coaching staff. And John, it reminds me of a quote in the movie 13 Days, going back to the Cuban Missile Crisis. John F. Kennedy said to his Secretary of Defense, John McNamara, he said, "Robert, you need to get some sleep." And Robert McNamara replied to President Kennedy, he said, "Sleep is for the weak, Mr. President." So I know you guys don't get a lot of it, but just talk about how hectic it is during those 48 hours.
It's very hectic. It's definitely not a lot of sleep. I will say that preparation helps. Following an itinerary that's put together for the guys just helps things flow a little bit. So you do have a lack of sleep, but you still have something to go off of. You can focus more on the small things, pre-scout, stuff like that, and then get up in the morning, and again on Sunday you just follow a routine. So I would attest it to preparation. Makes it a lot easier. It's still a grind, but it makes it a little less stressful in a sense.
And John, after the Saturday games, does it take you and Lenny a long time to unwind? I mean, or can you go to bed and hit it faster? My guess is it takes you a while to unwind.
Oh yeah, just like anyone else, just like a player does. When you get back from a game, you're playing out every scenario in your head, how everything went, how it can be better the next day. So even though you don't have the hours to sleep, you don't really sleep anyway because you're thinking about everything, which is good. It's excitement.
Yeah.
It's excitement.
Okay. Yeah. True. Exactly.
It really is.
And I admit, I'm a tennis player, and even though I just play at an amateur level in a recreational league, same thing happens to me. I go home, think about the shots I messed up on, think about some nice winners. So even at that level, yeah, it's kind of hard to wind down. Well, the Rush again comes into this weekend. We're back home, John, this weekend against the Atlanta Junior Kings. And before we talk about them specifically, let's just talk about how good it's going to be on home ice again after a whole month. And can you believe it? It's been a whole month since our showcase. I mean, that 30 days has gone so quick to me anyway.
Absolutely, time flies, especially when you're in routine with the week. You grind out practices, you go take care of games on the weekend, and you repeat. It can really fly by.
Charlotte Rush tied with the Atlanta Junior Kings for second place in the Southeast Division of the Elite League. And John, what can you tell us about the Atlanta Junior Kings, and how do you think your guys are going to respond heading into this weekend's games?
They have some great team speed. They play very similar. Most teams in our division play hard. They compete. They go to the net hard. They do a lot of the same stuff that you see Carolina and Richmond do. These are tough games in our division, physical games. So it'll be another good test and a good chance to play someone we haven't played. We've been repeating games a lot lately. So just a good test for the boys to take care of business and make sure we're good on our pre-scout and we know what's coming.
Good stuff from John Turner, head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite, talking about a lot of different issues. John, congrats on the 2 big wins against Carolina. You're rolling right now with a 5-game winning streak, 12-4 record. Very impressive, and let's hope we can get a couple of more wins this weekend against the Atlanta Junior Kings. Good fortune here on Saturday and Sunday.
Thanks so much, Tim. I appreciate it.
That's John Turner, head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite. As we get set to come back home this weekend, the Charlotte Rush Elite will take on the Atlanta Junior Kings this Saturday. Face off 5 o'clock. The premier game against Atlanta will get underway around 7:45 to 8 o'clock. And then the 2 teams are right back on Sunday. Rush will take on the Atlanta Junior Kings Elite at 9:20, with the premier game getting underway about 12 or 12:15. Hey, be sure to check out our Charlotte Rush social media platforms on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Our Charlotte Rush YouTube channel, lots of cool videos there for you, as well as our Charlotte Rush website. And if you'd like even more detail, you can go to the United States Premier Hockey League website. All the leading scores of all the teams, the Rush stats are all on there. You can go there as well to get a lot of information on our 2018-19 Charlotte Rush. And thanks to Anthony Pagnotta, our cameraman today from the Carolina School of Broadcasting. I'm Tim Donnelly, play-by-play voice for the Charlotte Rush. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.